Have house prices turned the corner? The Halifax latest survey of prices on mortgage applications showed a rise of 2.6% in May compared with the month before. That's the biggest increase in 7 years. And the Nationwide's also registered a rise for the same period. On the more reliable 3-month average, prices are still falling by 3.1%, a far slower fall than previously. So is this a false dawn, or is it a brighter housing market really on the horizon, if you consider that higher prices are brighter? With us, Jonathan Davis, the Managing Director of the Chartered Financial Planners Armstrong Davis. Good morning.
Good morning, Andy.
And also here, Peter Rollings, the Managing Director of Marsh & Parsons Estate Agents. Hello there, Peter.
Morning.
Let's start off with you. Is it really time to get back into the property market, you think? Are prices going to go up?
I don't think they're going to go up very quickly, no. In fact, not at all. I think what we're doing is bouncing on the bottom.
Have we hit the bottom?
I believe in London we have, absolutely. And the property market is not a property market. It's lots of different markets, and London is one of them.
How can you be so sure?
Since the beginning of the year, over 5,000 people registered. Jonathan will hate this, but people gazumping people again, and 42 best and final offers so far. There's enormous demand. Now, this is not a boom, and prices aren't going to rise, but they're just bumping along the bottom.
Jonathan, a sign of hope. People are gazumping each other again.
Well, that's very good in the short term, but there's no light at the end of the tunnel as far as I'm concerned. The macroeconomic picture is still dreadful. Government deficit is absolutely remarkably huge. Unemployment is rising 100,000 a month. Look, the reason why there's been a spring bounce is A, because it's spring, and there's always a spring bounce. B, Barack Obama was just elected and he's going to sort out the world apparently, so people will be increasing their confidence. House prices are down 25%, so people think, well, they can't go down any further. Do you know what? They can, and they will.
But it is the first time that we've seen both of these indexes going up at once, and the Nationwide as well, going up 2 months in a row. That's surely solider evidence than we've had that house prices are coming back up. Whether or not that's good news.
It doesn't prove anything at all. We've had a year and a half of house price falls, and naturally in any long-term trend down, and that is exactly what we have, there are going to be statistical aberrations. And here we have a couple of surveys showing house prices up. It means nothing in the real term.
Peter, if you're wrong, people could get back into the market saying, oh yeah, Peter says they're bumping along the bottom, and then get stung when prices go down again.
I think you've got to look at the housing market as not just a market to make money in. In fact, quite the opposite. It's people where people live and people want to buy. Jonathan's looking at it on entirely a financial decision. It's not entirely a financial decision. It's much, much more than that. Lots of people started renting last year, and quite frankly, they're bored with it. They're fed up with it. If they have got a deposit and they can get a mortgage, guess what? They're going to get back into the market and they're going to buy.
Rents
it is a
down.
5-year play.
I quite like renting. Rents are going down.
Fine. Okay, well, if you like
Deposits
renting,
are going up. I don't have to find a deposit for a mortgage.
No, that's fine. It doesn't seem to be the English way when people like to rent. It's not theirs. They can't do what they like with it. They can't knock down that wall. They can't replace the bathroom. They can't replace the carpets. They're living in it and they're stuck with it.
There is a sign, Jonathan. Surely 40% of the sales are first-time buyers. They are coming back into the market.
And largely those first-time buyers are receiving the deposits from Bank of Mum and Dad. Eventually, Bank of Mum and Dad is going to run out of money. What they see, of course, is that you're getting no interest income on your bank deposits. So they look around for other ways of trying to make money. And Peter, forever, what a surprise, an estate agent saying it's not about investments, but living in a home. We hear the same arguments year after year after year. Ultimately, people think you can make money out of property. And in the last 30 years, of course you have. But in the next 10 years, you will not be able to make money out of property because we will have structurally very high unemployment. We will have higher interest rates in due course. We will have, therefore, largely falling house prices for a long time to come.
Peter?
I just don't agree. I mean, you were going to have higher interest rates. Of course we are. You can't get any lower. But still, they are much more affordable than they were. You can still get finance. If you have got a deposit, you will get a mortgage at the moment. And it is much more about somewhere to live. I agree. You're not going to just buy a house and it's going to go up 25-30% a year, as has happened in the last, over the last 4 years. But it is still a classic place to invest your money. And quite frankly, at the moment, where else are you going to invest?
The The people who've been buying property in the last few months, and of course there's been a spring bounce, and I'm not at all denying that. The facts speak for themselves. But the people who've been buying property in the last few months have been buying it largely with cash or with very high deposits. When you think about it, with the credit restrictions that we have, the banks have literally lost trillions.
We've got 95% mortgages now.
That's as may be, but to get the best mortgage rates, you have to have a 30 or 40% deposit, which means for an average family home, you have to have £150,000. Who has got £150,000? The only way you can create that kind of money is if you sell your own property. The numbers of transactions, they of course have gone up, but they're still 50% down on the long run average. The Bank of England transaction numbers are 43,000 a month. We need at least 75 or 80,000 a month for house prices to rise sustainably.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, they aren't going to rise sustainably for a while. I agree with you. It's like a bathtub. We've come down the edge and we're sliding along the bottom, and we're going to go up the edge probably, I would guess, in spring next year. You say people with smaller deposits get a worse rate. Yeah, I mean, that's once again true. It's still around about 6%. If you were looking back 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, you'd have thought 6% was a great mortgage rate. So I think one has to bear it in perspective.
Can I just ask you both about one other sign, which is the mortgage approvals up 19%, because they track house prices. They're a sort of leading indicator of house prices, aren't they? Jonathan, surely that suggests, whether you like it or not, that activity is picking up and the prices are going to pick up.
I'd be very happy for house prices to rise. I just don't think the economics are there. The mortgage approvals may be up, but they're still 50% down in long run.
Well, a lot of people wouldn't be happy for house prices to rise. We know that from surveying them. But do you go along with that?
Well, I think a lot of people would be happy, and a lot of people want to get back onto the ladder. That's what happens with the market. It goes up and it comes down. It goes up and it comes down. Jonathan's been talking about a crash in the property market since 2003. He's going to be right one day, and is.
That's not true.
I'm going to
2005.
I'm going to talk about a boom, and I'm going to be right one day as well. With the incredible lack of property being built in this country at the moment, we are going to have a boom.
OK, thanks very much. That's Jonathan Davis of Armstrong Davis and Peter Rollings there speaking last from Marsh & Parsons Estate Agents.